until we find little Frank. So those are my comments for this morning. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Next, we'll have Red Earth Cree Nation Chief Fabian Head.
Good morning, everyone. I thank the FSIN media for organizing this media press this morning. Today is day 28 of the search for Frank Young. Local crews, both Red Earth and Shoal Lake Cree Nation, have continued the searches along with outside search and rescue crews as well. At the moment as well, we are currently waiting response from the Rangers for additional support for search and rescue support. We thank the people and the group that held the candlelight vigil in Edmonton, Alberta at the legislative grounds last night. We also extended that solidarity with the Red Earth Cree Nation and Shoal Lake Cree Nation and the Prince Albert Grand Council, as well as we did that candlelight vigil at 8 p.m. last night, to stand with and continue to send that message of hope. And it is the prayers that keep us, that provides us strength, and we are thankful for that. Despite this being day 28, we still view this mission as a rescue mission. To date, also, we have had over 611 volunteers. We've also had 13 search and rescue crews, 490 GPS search tracks. And we are thankful for all the human resources, the equipment that's come to aid the search for Frank. The family here is extremely thankful for that. And as we stated before in previous media releases, that we will not stop until we find Frank, and that's the message that we continue to send. And we thank you. We ask you to keep sending your prayers to both to the family, to the Young family, and also to the Red Earth Cree Nation and the Shoal Lake Cree Nation. So, with that, I thank you. God bless.
Thank you, Chief. Now we will have Frank Young's family spokesperson, his aunt, Teresa Whitecap. And if the family wants to stand behind to show support for her while she speaks, if you guys feel comfortable, if not. And if you want to spell out your name too, just at the beginning there.
Okay. Yeah. Good morning, everybody. Coming from my family that are standing behind me, we are Frank's family. 5-year-old Frank, my grandson. My name is Teresa Whitecap, and it's spelled Teresa Whitecap. Ever since day when Frank went missing, we came as a family. I just want to make that known to everybody that my family are very strong. And the reason that we are strong is because we come together as one. And we prepared a statement that I'm going to read from the notes here. So if I make mistakes, please bear with me. I'm very nervous. Speaking publicly is very difficult for the family of Frank Young today. Is day 28 of the search. The family is overwhelmed with worry and grief, and they are overwhelmed by the public attention. However, they are extremely grateful for all the support and the belief, and they believe it is important to talk about the past 4 weeks and the impact of the family. So on behalf of my family that are standing behind me, they are with me. I feel uncomfortable reading from I would rather speak from the heart, so I'm going to put this aside. Last night, we were so happy. We were so overwhelmed with all the support that we had from the vigil that I requested from the Grand Council. They were very prompt to get the event going for us. We were supposed to have it in Red Earth, but my family traveled to Prince Albert last night for this media release, so we couldn't join the family back home. And I thank Lord Stewart for his part as well. Frank is 5 years old. Frank used to love playing outside with neighborhood children. Or family, or Frank's siblings. I thought this would be easy. And the day Frank went missing, everybody acted right away. The caregiver, my niece Barb, right away went searching for him when he knew it was not with the siblings. And the whole neighborhood joined in. They focused on the neighborhood. And when they couldn't find Frank around the neighborhood, Barb went towards the main reserve, where the store is. He went looking for Frank. There's a playground there, and there's another playground that exists within the community. But to no avail, they couldn't find him. Jarvis at that time went to there's a subdivision called Nadakam. That's where he went to get some water for his family. So Barb called him, "Are you with Frank?" And he said, "No, I'm not with Frank." So by the time he came back to the house, Jarvis, the fire suppression joined in. Knowing what was happening, they started helping with the search. Around 3 o'clock, they decided to notify our CMP of what was happening. Our CMP responded right away, and we thanked them for that. And Carried River Detachment responded right away. And they came to Red Earth. They did the investigation and asking questions. Who was with Frank? Who saw Frank? And I'm glad that some of the people that responded to these questions, I thank them for helping us. Frank attended Head Start, and this is Frank's Head Start teacher. Frank was creative. He was fun-loving. The Head Start program always planned special activities on special occasions like Mother's Day, Christmas, Easter. And Frank took pride of making things for for his caregiver, Barb. He was so proud of the things that he made for her. And they are a keepsake for Barb. She has them in her photo. She took pictures of them. And Maxine said, I used to love his chipmunk voice. He's got a little chipmunk voice. But that's what we were known for. Whenever we have a big gathering, everybody talks at once and we sound like chipmunks. So we're the chipmunk family. And I come from a very large family. And, in closing, I would just want to say, thank you to all the volunteers that have come out to Red Earth to help look for Frank. The technical people that brought their stuff in to help with the search by land, air, and water. Thank you. And we don't know how to say thank you. I don't know how to express thank you. And I know through Facebook, we see a lot of support. People sending messages to us. People lighting candles almost every night for Frank. Last night, before I spoke, I was told that, yes, Australia is thinking about us too. And that really hit my heart. I didn't realize there were other countries thinking about us, especially Frank. Oh. Last night, I was happy to have Melody Whitecap join us here in Prince Albert. She's the one that's looking after the financial part of Frank's search. She records everything, every dollar that comes into the account, and she shares it with us. We thank all the people out there that send groceries to us. And we don't even know some of the stuff where they come from, because it's overwhelming of what people are doing for us. And I talked to my family not too long ago. Once we find Frank, we are going to hold a big community feast for all the people that have come and helped search Frank, say thank you to them. And I want to host it in Red Earth because that's where Frank is raised by his auntie Barb. Because I believe that the Indian culture, that's our tradition, to give thanks, is to hold a feast, to say thank you for all the people that come into our lives. And I'm glad that we were able to do this today. We've been putting it off because we were hoping each day that Frank will be brought home to us. And I told my nieces, continue holding on to that hope. And that's what keeps us going every day, is the hope that we're going to see Frank. I pray for all the searchers, all the people that are in our circle. I pray for everybody in the morning, or when I'm traveling, when I go to bed, when I wake up middle of the night. I pray, and I pray asking our Heavenly Father to guide the searchers to bring Frank home to us. There's a lot of people that I want to thank, but the list is very, very long. And I hope some of them are listening to us to accept our thanks. And with that, I'd like to say thank you to the media. Thank you to the FSIN. Thank you, Marcel, Chief Marcel. Thank you, Fabian, Chief Fabian Head. And thanks to PAGC Chief Brian Hardlot. On behalf of my family, we thank you very much. And thank you. Oh, I forgot about, I almost forget about FSIN. Well, one time I called him Vice Chief in Show Lake. I'm so sorry.
Okay, thank you. Now we will have Grand Chief Brian Hardlot from PAGC.
Thank you. Anaskaman, grateful. Thank our great creator for the day here. As the Prince Albert Grand Council Grand Chief, I really here to express my thank yous and also to reassure the family here today in this press conference. But I'll start off with thanking the leadership, Chief Fabian and your council from Red Earth Cree Nation, also from Show Lake, Chief Marcel Head, and your council, the FSIN that are here, Chief Cameron, and also Vice Chief Heather, and the other executive of the FSIN, and of course our Grand Council. I want to thank also the media for continuing to do the coverage. I think that's important that the nation, the whole of Canada, know of what we're facing here. So I think that I want to especially thank Cheryl Kimbley, our events coordinator of the Prince Albert Grand Council, for helping to organize a vigil last night. I thank her for that. But I also thank the Prince Albert Police Service for keeping the people that did the vigil safe, and I thank them for that. I want to also Michelle will touch on this with the military support that we've requested, and that's the Rangers to make sure reaching out to the government of Canada military that they deploy the Rangers that we have in many of our northern communities, and they have that experience searching on land and also on water. So I hope that happens. But thank you to all the searchers from all over that come from that were mentioned from all over the First Nations and non-First Nations communities. Thank you for that. Very, very grateful for that. So thank you to the family, and reassure the family that we will not give up. And I also call on the RCMP to continue their work, and a special thank you to Constable Tung from the Carrick River Detachment, and also from Indigenous RCMP Dave Sanderson for their compassion, and that they're not giving up as part of the RCMP. All the RCMP, all the ground crews, the canine teams that come, I still encourage and call on you to keep the support and continue searching. So with that, I thank you again to the family. Very courageous Teresa, the grandmother of a young, our lost child here, Frank Young. So with that, thank you very much again for the opportunity and for listening to me in this press conference. I call on our great Creator to look upon us and guide us, continue to guide us, and help us find this child. I thank all our traditional people that came out to help. That's very important. So with that, Nanaskamun, I'm thankful. Mantugag kay Sidamago, God bless to all. Kini.
Okay, thank you, Grand Chief. We will now have PAGC Search and Rescue Team President Michelle Vander Voorde.
Good morning, everyone. First off, I'd like to thank the family and leadership for giving me a few minutes to speak this morning. I'm also sitting here with part of my team of the Prince Albert Grand Council Search, Rescue, and Recovery team, Pierce Pellerin, my director, Cliff Bittner, and Lauren Stewart, who have been deployed to the community immediately after Frank Young went missing. As the Grand Chief said, we assisted leadership and made an ask to have the Rangers deployed into the community to help search for Frank Young. The Chief is waiting for a response from the government back when they will be deployed and if they will be deployed to the community, but we are hoping that that request will be made for the leadership and for the family. Our search and rescue team, like the family and like leadership, will not give up until Frank is brought home. And at this time, what I would really like to do is reach out to our First Nation communities all over Saskatchewan and across the borders of Alberta, Manitoba, as far as BC. We need help. We need more people on the ground. And if you're able to, I'm asking my First Nation sisters, brothers, cousins, to please help the family and come and help search. We will not give up until Frank is brought home, and we need assistance. Thank you to the family and the leadership. Thanks.
Okay, thank you, Michelle. Next, we will have FSIN Chief Bobby Cameron.
Good morning. On behalf of the FSIN and our vice chiefs, Heather Bear, Ali Bear, Dutch Ron, David Pratt, Chief Fabian Head, Chief Marcel Head, and the family, our good friends, the Whitecap family. I was in North Battleford a couple of days ago. I feel this is important to tell the story. I was in the North Battleford area 2 days ago, and I had to get a few things, doing some visiting around, and I had a little tug. Someone tugged on my arm. Thinking it was an adult, I turned around and looked. I looked down, it was a little boy about yay high. About a 7-year-old boy, I figure.
And he wanted me to say something to you guys. Tell them we hope Frank comes home. That's what this young boy said. So other children are praying out there. We're praying. And as the many speakers before me said, we won't give up. We want to do a call out and a request and an expectation to Prime Minister Trudeau and Premier Scott Moe to support us, to send your resources, to send the Army, the Rangers. There was a lot of fatigue that has transpired the last month from the searchers. So we're doing this call out and this request and this expectation to Prime Minister Trudeau and Premier Scott Moe. And to the media, you have an important role to play, and to ask them, reach out to them, reach out to those sources. Will you do this for Red Earth, Green Nation, and Shoal Lake? And especially for the family. And the answer should be and must be yes. We will do it immediately. Those are our requests and our expectations as a federation. Thank you for listening to me.
Thank you, Chief Cameron, and we'll have FSIN Vice Chief Heather Bear.
Good morning. First of all, I want to acknowledge the Creator, and I want to give my love and prayers to the family today here. And it's no family, no mother, no grandmother, no auntie, father, grandfather, uncle should have to go through something like this. And, when it does happen, like Chief Cameron said, it is the expectation that every resource at our fingertips should be used when a little one goes missing. I want to say the leadership here today, Chief Head, Chief Fabian, Chief Cameron, Grand Chief Hartlot, the council that's here. When there's an important issue, a critical crisis, our leadership are here. And little Frank, I say, it's so moving, when you see the gratitude of this family, the gratitude of this community, and also the determination, to go and get out there every day and look. Because really, we don't know. We don't know if someone picked him up or took him. And I think that's the hope that some talk about. And of course, where we live in remote areas, it's tough terrain out there, and we need good infrastructure, good fences, things like that for the future. But for the time being right now, I want each and every one of you out there to think of your family, a little 5-year-old. I have a little 4-year-old. He's going to be 5 soon. And it's heart-wrenching to know that they're missing. So every effort needs to happen to make sure that little Frank comes home. I know there was issues about Amber Alert. I think we need to look at those kinds of responses, change criteria, change policy, so everyone can get the word out immediately when a little one goes missing. As I understand it, there is a criteria, but when a child goes missing, every effort, like I say, every resource needs to pay attention and don't spare any expense. In the days ahead, this family, this community, they need support. And I also want to acknowledge some of the, and I don't want to name them because there's many other communities, other leadership have sent their searchers and their experts to come in and join in on the efforts. and everyone in the room. My good friend Lauren, he's always he lives close to the community, Cumberland House, so you know he knows the land over there, and I want to acknowledge all of that expertise as well. So with that, in the days ahead, my love and prayers to the family, and you know, it's a tragedy when our little ones go missing. And all we ask is every effort to bring him home so that this family can heal and be at peace. So with that, I want to thank you all, media, for being here. And please keep covering this until they bring little Frank home. Jim Anglage, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Vice Chief. I also want to mention FSIN Vice Chief David Pratt is on Zoom right now showing his support for the family. And he just wants everyone to know that he appreciates all the support everyone has given so far, and he calls on the government to provide ranger help as well. So with that, we will be taking questions. However, the family will not be answering any questions, and they do appreciate your privacy during this time, this difficult time. But does anybody have any questions to start with? Chief Fabian, do you have any details?
As I said, the search is still ongoing. Obviously, we're looking into any evidence or any sign of Frank, and we're looking into that with the search with the aid of the RCMP. So. Well, right now, as you know, it's spring. We're situated around marshlands and swamp as well, and it poses some challenges when the searchers have to go out towards the south side of the house, and that's where the area of focus has been as well, along the river as well. So, thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions at this time? Yeah.
If FSIN of the community had a message for Frank right now, what would be?
The community, you said? Yeah.
What was the question?
For the FSIN or for?
If you have a message for
If we had a message for young Frank, well, that he come home to the family and return back to a normal life, be his creative young ways, as the Kokum mentioned, his laughter and his kind spirit, to be returned home and back to his family.
He is loved. And he is loved by many people.
Thank you. Any other questions? I can check on Zoom here too. We just have one question here from Mickey from the Canadian Press. Other than the Rangers, what kind of resources do you want from Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and Premier Scott Moe? Their chiefs would like to answer that one.
Yeah, in terms of the resources that we're asking for, it's overwhelming, of the resources that have been flooding into the community. But these are, people that do care. Financial support has been coming in. But as I told one of our native media and announcer, something else could be done. That is the federal government, the provincial government provide basic financial resources. We cannot look into our own resources. Those are resources, that you're well aware that go directly to program and services. So there is a need, to, like I said, to the cost of fuel these days has increased a lot. And certainly you could do far better, to provide those resources to Shoal Lake and Red Earth. So Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, Premier Scott Moe, if you're listening to this media, we are asking and requesting for your financial resources to both communities so that our operators that are operating the outboard motors as well as all-terrain vehicles can fuel these vehicles and the vehicles too as well. We were told, and jokingly, sometimes we're told, that vehicles don't run on water, they run on fuel, gas. So that's what we're asking the federal, both levels of government, is the resources, and do it fairly and do it quick. That's our message to you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Were there any other questions at all?
I think the chief had some response to some of what they need for resources.
Okay, perfect.
Again, I'd like to add some supplementary comments to what as well that we need. As Chief Marcel stated that, we need additional equipment such as airboats and quads and boots for the searchers that are on foot as well. So, but also, Red Earth has endured 4 losses since April 19th in the community, and the need for mental health support is needed, and that's the area as well that we need to focus on, how to provide that support, that counseling as well for the family of Frank Young, and also for the community that are affected by the loss within the community. We've lost 3 elders and 1 adult member since April 19th. So, mental support, wellness support is needed. So, thank you.
Thank you, Chiefs. Any other questions at this time? I will check Zoom again. No? Okay, well, thank you.
Sorry,
Oh,
just
you
to
do?
add on
Yeah.
the mental health supports, you mentioned that. Have you heard back from the federal government at all, or has there been any interaction back and forth from the federal government at this point?
Not really, but we've utilized the mental health services from the Prince Albert Grand Council as well, and we thank them for their support, and also the local NCFS agency is providing that support as well. But as everybody, the comments that were made, it's day 28 today, and it's exhausted obviously from the shirts.
Want to speak on that too? Yeah, go ahead.
All right, I've just been reminded again, the purpose of this media conferencing is the family, like you've heard the spokesperson, Teresa Whitcap, they're calling for resources, they're calling for support. And in terms of the both levels of government, we haven't heard from you. And if we have, we appreciate that. But they are calling, for support in terms of the mental and wellness support. after this, after today, they're heading out to Saskatoon, to get that support. And whoever, is stepping up to the plate, to even come over to Red Earth and visit the family. If you have words, that can carry them through, your words are more than welcome. And there's a lot of resource people out there that we're counting on, to not only, for the communities, but especially for the family. And since day one, like Teresa had mentioned, they've been together as a family, and they would like to continue that, supporting each other. But I think there's more that can be done, by other people. That, if you went through this similar situation, and if you had experience, of the fatigue, the tiredness, even just the basic loneliness of missing Frank. If you have words, that you can share to the family, please come and share your stories. I'm pretty sure that the family will be glad, to hear from you. And at this point, if they want, I like to get the parents and the guardians to stand up and just to acknowledge them today. Tanya and Daryl Young are the parents. The guardians are Langley and Barb Mackay. So again, we'd like to thank everyone for their support, and words cannot express, the gratitude that we have from both communities, and especially from the families, like Daryl and Tanya, Barb, they certainly thank you for your support and the continued support. And we expect, like Chief Bobby Cameron said, from the federal government, your response will be greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. That is all the time we have for questions. We want to thank everyone for joining us today during this press conference, and we'd like to say, we hope Frank comes home soon. Thank you for coming. Appreciate it. Okay, thank you, everyone.
Good job, everyone.